Hey guys, welcome back. I am Neeraj. In this session, let us try to build a simple calculator in Rust. We will collect some input from user, and based upon the user input, we will perform either addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So let's do that. I'll create a new project with cargo new, and the name of project. So let's say call it calculator. Hit enter. So it has created a calculator. So we will cd into it and open in VS Code. Okay, so our project has been open, and also let us open the terminal. We will check with the cargo run. Okay, fine. So we are getting the hello world output. Let me also place it in the side so that we will have some better picture, better view. Okay, and we will open the main.rs file. Let me increase the font a little bit. Okay, so we will have say calculator program with some new lines. Okay, so we will collect some user input. So my idea is that we will take a few inputs in the number one and num1 and num2 variable, and we will also ask for some choice. And based upon these three inputs, so we will perform the calculation. So let's do that. So I'll create few variables like in the previous program. So every user input that would be a string. So that is why I created an empty string with the string : new. And by the way, so it must be of a mutable because we have to mutate it. And I'll duplicate it and let us call it num2. So we have the numbers, and also we will also duplicate it and let us call it choice. So we have the three variables. We will take the inputs in these variables respectively. So first, let us try to collect the user inputs. Let's say please provide number one, and once again, so we will use the standard in, and this is coming from the standard library from the IO package. IO is a package just inside the standard library, so it is a part of the standard library. Read line first. We are going to collect the number one. So let's say num1, and it should be, we need to pass it as a reference of mutable reference, and expect. If for any reason, so if it fails to collect the input, so we will display some message. Let's say error in input. Fine, so far so good. So I'll also put some comment number one. And for the sake of simplicity, let us duplicate it. So we will say number two, provide number two, and based upon this two, so we will perform our calculation. So we have collected the two user inputs, the number one and number two, and now let us also collect for the choice. So let's say we will call it println. Please provide the operation to perform. We will display some menu. Plus for addition, I'll duplicate it few times. Minus for subtraction, asterisk for multiplication, and division for division. Okay, so far so good. We will display the same menu that is available in the keyboard or in any electronic calculator. And now we will collect the user input. So again we will say std in readline ampersand mute, and our variable name is choice dot expect. For any error, we will say error in input, or better say error in input collection, or collecting input. That would be more meaningful. Okay, so now we have everything. We have our numbers, we have our choice. Now we are ready to perform the calculation. So let's save it, and also we can run it and see how it appears. So we are provide number one. So we will say, let's say two, number two, that would be three, and we are getting this again a prompt to provide our a mathematical operation to perform. Let's say I'll press plus. Okay, fine. Our program is working fine as expected up to this point. Before doing any mathematical computation, we need to convert a string into float 64. We will do that. I'm simply creating a variable with the same name like our variables like num1 and num2. That is called shadowing, as we all know. And we will need to parse it. Here simply I am converting a string into a float 64. First num1 variable I use trim. Okay, trim needs to be It's a function trim. Then I am parsing it, and it returns a result. So that is why we have to collect the error, and I am simply displaying a error message, and whatever's a variable I am expecting, so it needs to be converted into float 64. I'll duplicate it out, create another variable with the same name, num2. So these things have been done, and now we will write some if-else statements to perform the mathematical computation. So here I am saying if the choice equals plus, that means the user is supposed to perform the addition. Let's create another variable to hold the result of the computation. It would be a float 64, or the result can be a float. It must be mutable. And we will start a else if statement. We will check for the subtraction, and we will say for the multiplication. Okay, we have checked for these three conditions, and now we will do for the division. Okay, but one thing we need to be sure about for the division, because if we try to divide from a 0, that would give a panic. So we will also need to check about that. We can say just right here. So here we are also adding another statement in our if statement. Num2 should not be 0.0. And again, and also we can have a else block, and very simply we will say print not a valid choice, and we will display the result. Since we are matching it, we are running a if-else statement against choice, and choice is a string where we are collecting the user input. It will have a new line character as well, so we need to get right of that. So let us create a new variable with the same name of choice. So we will shadow this choice, and also we need to convert it as a string slice first. I'll explain the reason, and we will trim. In the if statement, we are having this sign as a string slice. So we cannot compare a string slice with a string type. So that is why we need to convert it as both the operand that should be of same type. Rust is very specific to types, very strongly typed. Now let's try to test it. So I'll say cargo run, and first number is number 3, second number is 4. I wish to perform an addition. Hit enter. So got the result of mathematical computation as 7. We can also check for another also. The first number is number 3, second as let's say 5, and this time I wish to perform a subtraction. So got -2, -2. Again cargo run, and number 3 and 6. This time perform a multiplication. Got 18 as expected. Also try to run one more time. This time number 4 divided by, let's say this time we will check for the division 7, and we will perform a division. So we are getting correctly. So everything seems to be working fine. So yeah, so this is the program, and also I am thinking like in this just read line method, we are collecting 3 inputs, and we are repeating these things again and again 3 times. So what if we can have a common function created, and that would collect the user input and simply return the appropriate values whatever the user input is. If you go that way, so we can perform the sanity checking in the in one single function, and that would be really great. There is a lot of a scope about the refactoring, and I think maybe some other time or in the next session, so we will refactor it. So that's all for this session. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next. So till then, take care and happy coding.